Are you ready?
Quit time!
We are the best in the world at what we do.
It's the PriMalLow Wrestling Show with Robert Price, Tom Malloy, and your host, Rich Lopez.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 51 of the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Yes, we are 1 week away from that year mark. We can't be, any more excited. I'm your host, Rich Lopez, here with my two colleagues, Robert Price and Tom Malloy.
Hello, hello.
Hey there, guys.
Coming up on the show is the Raw recap. I saw a lot of people on social media were giving this Raw a lot of flack, so you'll hear our thoughts on that. Stuff that went on during that was Terry Funk and the Hell in a Cell stipulation, stuff like that we'll talk about. And also, we're going to have our topic discussion. We're going to discuss Bobby Roode and Eric Young leaving TNA. They asked for a release. They got it. So we're going to talk about that and the landscape of NXT if they join.
After that, we're going to have the PriMalLow Mailbag where we're taking questions from you, the fans. DC and Michael Denilevich. OL.
OLs.
Madness, and more bracket madness. The second round discussion. Who is the greatest wrestler of all time?
Hope you guys stay tuned after this short little break with the Kevin Owens theme song. We will talk about our Raw recap. Stay tuned. Yes, it is 2 weeks away, that it being WrestleMania 32, and Raw, in my opinion, based on what I read, because I just got an apartment, trying to give my wrestling stuff an excuse. Got an apartment, had no cables, coming soon. So I didn't get to watch it, but I read the results, and based on what I read, it was not the greatest Raw, especially a Raw being 2 weeks away from WrestleMania, trying to sell out 100,000 people. Thank God I have you two here. You guys can elaborate on what you guys saw. I know what I read. Elaborate what you guys saw. Price, you can start it off.
I could elaborate on your hard times.
My hard times.
without seeing Raw. You didn't miss that bad of a Raw.
That's what, that's
It was probably, I'm not going to take the ranking thing. I'll let Tom rank it a little bit later.
And much
I kind of thought it was
anticipated.
the middle of the road. Not what you expect from going into WrestleMania 2 weeks out. However, totally marked out when Terry Funk came out.
Okay, I heard about that. I got excited.
He gave Dean Ambrose a chainsaw.
Very scary.
I didn't like that. Even when he had the chainsaw, they didn't have he didn't have the chain on it, so that's a little bit scary. Dean Ambrose ruined a perfectly good table. I thought he was going to give him the branding iron, which would have been cool.
Oh, that's what you were talking to me about before the show.
Yeah, he would have branded
I was thinking
Brock Lesnar.
I was thinking steel chair with barbed wire wrapped around it.
So a lot of people on the show said that next week that Abdul the Butcher is going to give him the fork. And I say, what the fork about that?
Good food.
So,
great food.
And then the stipulation that McMahon put on that if Undertaker loses this match, that this will be his last WrestleMania, kind of gives a little bit more fire.
Do you buy it? Like, do you like this added?
I sell. Oh, sorry, Tom.
Do you like it or no?
I like it because it gives a thing that. Since it's in Texas, everybody's like, oh, Undertaker's going to lose. Well, if he loses, this is his last WrestleMania. So there's something on both sides. You don't know who's going to win now.
Okay, real quick. Malloy, what are your thoughts on Raw? Overall?
All right. 4.5 out of 10.
What?
Wow, you went to the 10ths right now?
Yeah. It's just like how I posted in our group last night about how do you feel about seeing The Rock at WrestleMania. I give it a 1.5. I'm pretty sure I gave it.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, yeah, furthermore, Raw, I mean, it was like I said, But Terry Funk passing the torch to Ambrose, that's a good thing. I just don't see Lesnar being acceptable to take all these shots that it looks like Ambrose will be able to give him with chairs and barbed wires and
I do think the
preferably
bat
a
and barbed
chainsaw.
wire is going to come into play. Obviously, I don't think the chainsaw will.
He might miss and just cut the announcer table in half.
He could do that, maybe.
I just can't see Lesnar like, oh my God, I might get killed during this match. I just can't see him being good for it.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. Ladder match, that's just, to me, it's going to be a filler match at WrestleMania.
I was going to talk about that. Just give me your thoughts on the McMahon added stipulation on the Hell in a Cell.
All I know is if Sting doesn't come out to wrestle Taker, Shane's going to lose. Taker's not going to retire to losing to Shane McMahon.
Okay. So you think it's still obvious who's going to win?
It's like the Triple H thing back in, was that WrestleMania 29 when he wrestled Lesnar, or was that WrestleMania?
Oh, Triple H? Yeah, you didn't even realize that it was his last match? Because I just feel like, I remember that.
That was supposed to be, that was a part of the stipulation. Triple H had to retire. And I really thought Triple H might have lost that match because because Shawn Michaels retired the year before,
Mm-hmm.
or like 2 years prior, but still, Triple H, he's so involved in the business. Of course, he's gonna wrestle again.
Yeah. See, the thing I have with this Taker thing is, I'm trying to think of a way for Shane to win without Undertaker having that problem. And the only thing I could think of, I could be completely wrong here, but I'm just thinking of a double turn, as in the Authority, as in Steph and Triple H go face, and then side with Taker after he loses, and then Shane and Vince join in forces.
But then you look at it this way, though. You're going to have the best wrestler of all time, who is, what is he? How many in one at WrestleMania?
Whoa, wait a minute. Is that already,
Is he the greatest wrestler of all time?
bracket?
I mean, yeah, we'll
You
get.
can say he's in the discussion.
He's in the discussion for the bracket. He's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
There you go.
And how is he? How many? What's his record at WrestleMania?
22-1.
So his second loss is going to be to Shane McMahon.
They might just figure, hey, you already lost. 22-2 is still amazing. First of all, 24 appearances at WrestleMania, no matter what the record is, wrestling is simply amazing. I'm not trying to build up the little bracket here for Taker, but I'm just saying. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there's going to be a switch at some point where Shane and Vince get together, and what the thing that Stephanie doesn't know about is Vince actually brought Shane back, and then Triple H would be able to bring Taker back for 33 at some point or something like that. I don't know.
Some power.
I just want to know what's in the box, though.
That I'm thinking is Vince bringing Shane back or whatever. That's what
the
you're talking
contract of NXT.
Something like that. Something's.
What?
I don't know. We'll see. But other things that happened on Raw, the ladder match announced, which Malloy just said was going to be a filler. Who is it? It is Ziggler, Miz, Stardust, Zack Ryder, Sin Cara, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. I was going to finish that off with the two strongest, because do you agree, considering mainly Zack Ryder, Sin Cara, and Stardust weren't even in the running? Because you could say, Ziggler's been in a rivalry. Miz beat Ziggler. He had a couple, promos with Owens. Sami Zayn is right now in a rivalry with Owen. But the other three, does that make any sense to you guys?
No, it doesn't. To me, I felt as though it was going to be a fatal four-way match, and that those stars that came out as the extra fillers, to my thought process, would go against Kalisto for the U.S. title.
I thought so too.
Because when you look at it, I mean, just have Ryback versus Kalisto for that title. Why give them that when you could have had Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens for that?
Yeah. Well, Price had a good thing, right? Didn't you say that it's because you wanted to do the classic big man versus small man with Kalisto and Ryback?
They're trying to build up Kalisto as the new Rey Mysterio. Yep. You hit the nail on the head.
But what if he loses? What do you think about that? You think they're still going to build him up as that?
Yeah.
Of course. Didn't they have Goldberg versus Rey Mysterio a couple times in WCW?
Oh, I don't remember. I'm sure they did.
Squash matches, though.
Yeah, I'm sure there were squash.
For the United States title, even?
Well, no. If anything, no matter what match Goldberg was in, it could have been against Hogan. It was almost a squash.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I said on my fantasy WrestleMania 32 card, I just really thought because of the everlasting long rivalry between Kalisto and Del Rio, that they didn't have enough time to build a rivalry, so I thought a good filler match for the U.S. title would have been a ladder match, especially with the success that Kalisto had with that Salida del Sol. In that ladder match he had at TLC. It would just been, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was about to say, it's not the OMG moment of the year, though.
I thought it was, but anyway. Yeah, I just thought it would have been better. It would have been cool to have Sin Cara go up against them because they're tag partners. You always need a big guy in there. The big guy Ryback would be in there. And then you could just, even if you didn't want to do Zayn versus Owens, if you wanted to save that for another pay-per-view, you could have still put Miz and Ziggler in, I don't know, maybe do 2 ladder matches or something. I don't know, put those titles in both ladder matches, but do a fatal 4-way ladder match for the U.S. and a fatal 4-way for the Intercontinental. I don't know how Zack Ryder fits into this. He's on NXT with, what are they? Oh, the Hype Bros. I was going to say the Major
I'm still hype, bro, to see this match.
I'm not hype, bro, at all.
Maybe they could just hang 2 titles and totally turn it into a TNA event.
Hey.
That, you have 2 titles in separate parts of the ring, and you have to climb up the ladder in order to grab that title.
That'd be cool. All 8 people, or
To have 23. Why not?
Yeah, why not? But I don't know. I just feel like they could have did something like that. I don't know. I just didn't like the one-on-one match at Ryback and Kalisto, and then that's it. But another side note, Did Roman Reigns get booed out of the building? Did anybody know?
I didn't even know he had a match.
Well, no, I heard he did a run-in where Triple H came out of the limousine.
He was outside.
Then the gate opened and...
When the gate was open, and I really thought it was Chucky, but it turned out to be Roman Reigns.
It was not
They're
much
very
of a...
smart. They're very smart because I read that people, like creative, the whole day were thinking of ways to not have Roman Reigns out in front of the crowd because of...
Booing.
You know what happened at Rumble?
You know what I like to do? During that segment, I was looking at the truck. It looked like Big Show has sweat going down his face. It looks like he was actually crying.
Well, he always
That's
cries.
what I was focused on.
So I guess you're not. I guess you're not excited for this match.
I'm completely not. And at first, I thought he ripped Stephanie out of the car.
Yeah, me too. Because at the beginning of the night, they had the promo with him and Stephanie, and I really thought if he speared her, he would have got over. He would have been the most over superstar on the roster.
He probably would have.
Yeah.
You definitely.
Especially in Philly.
Because what would Austin do? Austin would stun anybody.
Because they want to make him, because he's not really like portraying the Rock persona. Because the Rock was like this rich.
They're making him a Cena guy.
Yeah.
Never give up mentality, even though he was one of the biggest bullies when he was in the Shield.
Yeah.
That's why it's not working. Another thing that's not working is his attire. I just came to that conclusion. I don't mind it, but
he
a
looks
lot of
like
people.
he's ready to go paintballing, bro.
Yeah.
They're going to change his entrance from what I heard.
They need to do that.
And he's not going to come to the crowd anymore.
Good.
Yeah, because I think fans are going to punch him in the face or whatever.
No, they're not going to do that. They would have did that
They
already.
do all the.
They would have did that after the Rumble.
Non-PG stuff while he's there.
That's probably another reason why. Yeah.
But
okay.
I wanted to just say, John pointed out a great thing a couple days ago or last night or whatever it was, that he thinks that maybe The Rock will turn on Roman Reigns.
I think it's going to be reversed.
That would be awesome.
I really think it's going to be reversed. I think what's going to happen is, I read reports that Shawn Michaels is going to be the referee, right? So in order to stack the deck against Roman Reigns.
And that's never worked out in anyone's favor when Shawn Michaels is
course.
the referee.
But I'm thinking that Reigns is going to win, and then The Rock, because of The Rock, and then Reigns is going to turn on The Rock. I think that's the only way you can save Mania if it's the main event. If Shane and Taker go on last, I don't know how you're going to be able to make... It's going to be really hard. The reason why I'm saying, like, I'm trying to think of, like, these outrageous endings to the show is because of what happened at 31.
Yes.
Seth Rollins closing out, cashing in. You're not going to be able to top that.
It saved WrestleMania.
It did, but I'm saying you're not going to be able to top that excitement. But obviously they're going to have to try to, especially if Reigns is on last, because he's going to get booed out of the arena.
And I think of it, too, is Reigns has to turn on The Rock. Because The Rock, being a part-time wrestler, or a part-time superstar for that matter, he has to be the good guy.
And not even that. If he's a bad guy, he's going to get cheered because everybody loves him as the bad guy.
A heel Rock,
He's too entertaining.
He's the only time The Rock got booed in the past 10 years was Royal Rumble.
Exactly. But go ahead.
Everybody just loves The Rock. He could just come back as anything.
Exactly.
And they'll just say his catchphrases. And
I really think they should do Cena versus Taker at 33, Reigns versus Rock at 33, Seth and Triple H at 33.
The only thing that I'll disagree with you respectfully is
it's all about respect here, man.
Rock versus Shawn Michaels.
I would love to see that.
HBK will never come out of retirement.
But Shawn will never come out. Shawn's last two WrestleMania matches are top 10 all time.
And he even said, he's like, I'm done. He's like, I don't know. He's going to be the only wrestler to never come out of retirement.
Yeah, I agree.
And
so that's why I said Rock and Reigns. I would love to see Rock and Michaels. They're my top two all time, probably. They're not in my bracket because of the way the bracket's set up.
You might see them get in a scuffle, though, at WrestleMania 32.
Something like that, yeah.
But does Shawn have neck problems still at all, or back problems?
No, he's been good. He just has been out of the ring a while, and he just wants to spend time with his family.
I think he just saved his body more or less too when you think about Shawn Michaels. But
go ahead. What were you gonna say, Paris?
No, I totally agreed with both of you.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would love to see that happen, but I just think Michaels will never come out, and Reigns with the authority it just works because Rollins is going to come back as a face. He's going to get cheered. It's going to happen. And they have to – I don't think they're thinking about that. And like I said, if he's a face, he has so many – if he's a heel, I'm sorry, he has so many good guys to face. He has AJ Styles. He has Cena. He's going to have Ambrose, Sami Zayn. He's going to have a lot of people. So we'll see what happens. And a real quick note, Luke Harper got injured in a dark main event. Tore his ACL. Any thoughts on that?
And Braun Strowman got attacked.
Yeah, but I mean,
he's
okay. Luke Harper's not.
Why would you try to attack Braun Strowman?
I don't know.
Did you see the dark match by chance?
I saw the incident.
I seen it.
I saw the dark match, and it looked like he kind of just fell off the apron. I don't know how.
No, he was in the corner. He was punching Roman, and then his leg just fell over. But it's just gross.
Is that what happened to Rollins? I forget what he said.
Rollins did a
sunset flip that turned into a power bomb,
and his knee just gave out.
But he finished the match.
And say he still didn't finish it.
Finished the match.
Yes, very true professional.
Nothing against Luke Harper, because Luke Harper, I have a lot of respect. Anybody that goes through Shakira and, has to deal with the gimmicks, not that that's bad, but...
Yeah. I know what you mean. Well, we'll see what happens with the Wyatt family, especially after WrestleMania, because they're all supposed to be billed as top heels. When we come back after this short break, it's time for our topic discussion, where we're going to talk about the new releasees, I guess we could say, of TNA, Bobby Roode and Eric Young. Stay tuned.
Hey, I'm Tom Malloy from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Do you like Facebook? Do you like wrestling? Like our page. Search the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Enjoy.
Welcome back. It is time for our topic discussion, as always. We're going to talk about the last two people that got released from TNA, Eric Young and...
Bobby Roode!
Thank you. Price has been wanting to do that for the longest time now. Anyway, they asked for a release due to financial issues with TNA, and they got granted their release. So, of course, as always, a lot of rumblings are going around. WWE, NXT, anything? Price, you follow them a little bit. Do you want to see them in WWE?
I wanted to see Beer Money if they were going to come into WWE. Eric Young is completely deserving. He's almost at the Dolph Ziggler level for that's the guy that they relied on. There's some nights that Scott Hall showed up. He was intoxicated. He couldn't compete. So what did they do? They threw Eric Young in the match. He was tagging with Kevin Nash. Even though that he was wrestling prior to that, he wrestled 3 times in one night.
Yeah.
Not because they booked him that way. Well, eventually they booked him that way, but because other people on TNA's roster.
Yeah.
So he was the go-to guy until he got his show with, I believe it was CMT, where he was able to do his outdoor show.
Oh, that fishing show? I remember watching that a couple times.
Coolest thing, he made a raft out of.
He never had a beard
water.
until that, right?
Right.
I remember watching him in TNA. That's when he started the beard. Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
So, I'm happy to see him, and hopefully he's on WWE. Beer Money, if they came into NXT,
that's not gonna happen though. James Storr just signed with TNA.
They have more championships than Devon and Bubba Ray.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
I just don't think that's possible though. Because
just with TNA though.
No, I figured. But James Storr just signed a 2-year contract, didn't he? Remember he turned down NXT because the money wasn't right?
No, I know it's not possible. That's the only way
he
I
asked
want to
for
see.
a release again, maybe. I mean, just
so
like
Bobby
they did.
Roode should be in NXT. Just he could fill in the role for Rhino because Rhino's going to be the political game right now.
Yeah.
Put over talent.
Well, you could say in
but
that aspect, Austin Aries could be filling in for Rhino right now.
No, Austin Aries.
What happened to Rhino?
Rhino's going to be political.
I think he's running for mayor, right?
Yeah.
Of Detroit.
So or some sort of like political.
It might not be a mayor, but it's a political office.
So he's doing what Kane has been doing in the past and just off screen until the end of the campaign. Obviously, if he wins, he's not coming back. But if he doesn't win, he'll be back on NXT television.
But okay. If they both go to, this is a hypothetical. One can go to WWE, none can go to WWE main roster. That is. But let's say they both go to NXT, right? And obviously, you have Shinsuke. That's his. I always thought it was Shinsuke, but it's Shinsuke, I think, isn't it?
Who?
Nakamura.
Yeah.
I think it's Shinsuke Nakamura.
It's not Shinsuke.
Shinsuke. What?
No,
anyway, it's Nakamura. Austin Aries is there now. There's a couple more, right? Am I just?
Yeah.
Maybe Bullet Club, unless they get right to the main roster. But I'm just trying to think of all these hypotheticals of the people that WWE are trying to sign. Do you think NXT is going to get too crowded?
I already believe it was too crowded before. I said this in the past couple episodes. You're just you're overdoing the market just because I was saying
the expansion after Brooklyn.
You have that, and everybody that was watching '99, they're all getting signed to WWE now. Mm-hmm. So the market's just way too flooded.
See, the thing that... Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off.
So, you see, there's only so many top spots. You already have them in NXT.
Especially with only one title.
When they come up, right. There's no 2 titles. They used to have the Lucky 13 title, which that turned into the World Heavyweight title.
Okay. I don't want to cut you
Go
off. I'm
ahead.
sorry. I remember when Sami Zayn got injured and Tommy got injured, and it was literally just Kevin Owens and Finn Balor. And Neville was on his way up to the main roster because he already lost the title. He got squashed pretty much by Kevin Owens. You could just tell he was on the way out. And it was only those two. I remember I'm like, they really need to get somebody quick because Kevin Owens is gaining so much steam. Once they give it to Balor, he's going to hold the fort down, but they need to build a lot of people because Corbin wasn't ready. They signed Apollo Crews. Sami Zayn comes back. We're waiting for a Tommy, but then they sign Austin Aries. They bring Rhino back, whatever. I'm just trying to think, like, they just went after NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, just through the roof with signing people, or at least trying to sign. You know what I mean?
They're just
And
trying to get everybody.
It is, and the thing that kind of sucks, I told you it sucks kind of about it, not too much, is that you can get away with building your own stars because it's developmental. So that psychology of somebody new and working from, like, literally, you know, at a 0 level to, you know, once you get a 10, then you go to the main roster. It's more understandable. Like, Nia Jax, not that great of a wrestler. For her size, awesome. Do you know what I mean? But, like, you let her slide because she's working. Do you know what I mean?
And because she's Samoan.
Samoan, of
And she'll
course,
be on the
but-
main roster in like 2 years. But the idea of if Eric Young goes to there, he should be on the main roster within a year.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Same
so
with like Samoa Joe. He should be on the main roster
it just
already.
my bad. Telling with
Well,
Samoa Joe.
Though-
It just takes away the developmental part when you're signing all these indie stars. Because number one, they don't need developmental training.
Clearly, they just need to know how to talk maybe a little bit better.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
The only reason why I believe that they're going to bring these people in is because you have the star power. So you're making it's kind of like sharpening steel. You know, you use steel to sharpen steel.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I mean, we'll see. Like,
The way
I
I
really
feel-
want to see them kind of
Go ahead.
focus on Corbin. And I feel like they're not doing that. I mean, we'll see what happens, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying because he's actually been a developmental guy, almost like Tyler Breeze.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And we'll see what happens. Go ahead.
but I was going to say that, like, with the landscape at NXT with bringing in even more people, I feel as though they're trying to do the same thing that the WWF did in like 1989, 1990. They tried to bring everyone from every territory to be
Oh, yeah, in the
in
early
their
80s.
company.
Yeah, but here's the thing with that though is like, I mean, I guess that was still obviously overpopulated. I always feel like the Attitude Era was just not overpopulated because everybody knew where they were at on the totem pole. But I do know what you mean, like in the mid to late
Mid-
80s, because there were so many territories. But I feel like
Because there's so many indie
no,
places now.
you're completely right. I was just gonna say I would disagree with you on the fact that like people that were so talented now go to NXT, but you're just waiting for them to go up rather than. I guess maybe because of the lack of television and media, you really didn't know who they were. So if you
Exactly.
placed them in mid card, it was more acceptable because you didn't know who they were.
Because I didn't know who the Texas Tornado was.
That's what I mean.
Kerry Von Erich.
Kerry Von Erich.
Yeah,
That's
but
what I'm
I didn't
saying.
know who he was
But
when
that's what I'm
watching it because I'm like, all right, who's this new dude?
That's
but
what
if
I'm
you
saying.
go back and watch the footage from
WCCW.
CCW,
That's why I'm disagreeing with you to an extent. Like you didn't know who he was, so wherever they put him, you're okay with it. Now Samoa Joe goes to NXT, you're like he should be on the main roster.
and then
he should
when he
be
comes on the main
eventing.
when he's on the main roster, he should be main eventing,
That's what I
not
mean.
just
so
going for the United States
that's
title, not
what's
having a
kinda-
feud with Dolph Ziggler. You know,
That's
However,
why I think NXT is overpopulated.
However, with NXT being overpopulated, we can go back to the early '90s where you had Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and The
Every
Rock
match,
and Triple
yeah.
H going against Intercontinental title. All of a sudden has all this prestige because you see Kevin Owens versus Samoa Joe, you see Samoa Joe versus Finn Balor, you see
Yeah.
all these guys that are known globally and are not under the WWE banner. They weren't made by the machine, getting the title.
That's true. I mean, like I said, there's obviously gonna be pros and cons and everything, but it's just as long as everything's booked right, I guess there will be no complaining. So I completely understand what you're saying, Price. With like every match will be significant as long as everything's booked right. But if they do come back, I'm interested to see who they feud with, whether it's WWE or NXT. So we'll see. But I guess we're gonna take a hiatus on this one. I guess we'll come back to this once there's another signing in about 2 weeks because I heard they're looking at a couple people in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
That person's not going to sign.
He's not.
He said he does not want to be in
What was his?
WWE.
I forget his name. I don't even want to say it. Can't even think of a name right now. But yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about NXT in the future, especially with Takeover. Oh, we'll have to do that next week, right?
Oh boy,
NXT Takeover preview, right?
we got a busy show next week.
We definitely do. My God. But when we come back, that's next week. This week is the PriMalLow Mailbag. Price will be hosting as always. Lloyd, get your social media plugs ready because after this short break, it's on you. Stay tuned, guys. Hey, I'm Rich Lopez from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Don't forget to hear our new episodes of the PriMalLow Wrestling Show on SoundCloud. Episodes are uploaded every Tuesday night. Thank you for tuning in.
It's time for the PriMalLow Mailbag. But
thought you
before
said-
we do that,
I thought you were going to say time for the percolator.
it's time for the percolator. But before we do that, now's the time where Tom gets to shine. So do your thing.
All right, I'm going to plug some social media sites. You guys can follow us on Twitter at The PriMalLow Show. You guys can listen to us on SoundCloud, The PriMalLow Wrestling Show. You guys can like us on Facebook, The PriMalLow Wrestling Show, or also become a part of our fantabulous group, The PriMalLow Wrestling Show group. You can also read what we write on Blogger at PriMalLowWrestlingShow.blogspot.com. Or you can listen to us on YouTube for our weekly episodic episodes, The PriMalLow Wrestling Show.
He sounds like a robot sometimes.
Sometimes.
Just stops with like the
Just
stops on
the-
just stops on the random syllable. But go ahead, Bryce. I'm sorry.
That's so nice that we're going to let you do that twice, Tom.
Later
but
on.
not right now.
Yeah, later on.
So we're going to start things out with our OL Michael Danilevich.
Original listener.
Thank
We
you.
have to be precise. We don't want people thinking that we're doing some, slang here.
Well, they all know. He says, quote, "How do you feel when a match does not take place or use the stipulation that was advertised? I was watching El Giganto,
El Gigante, dude.
thank you, versus Sid Vicious in a stretcher match."
You know who that was? Giant Gonzalez.
Oh, really?
Yeah, WCW.
For you that did not know.
more
The
you
match
know.
ended when Sid pinned him. The stretcher was never used.
Now, here's my question to that. Obviously, you're going to need to get back to me on social media and answer this for me. After he pinned him, did he put him on the stretcher? The reason why I ask is because remember the original coffin match with Kamala and Undertaker?
Well, it was a
pinfall, and then he put him in the coffin.
It was the same thing when, what is his name? Kong fought Andre the Giant in a stretcher match. He pinned him, and then he had to try to put him on the stretcher.
Okay, I just want to make sure. If that's what happened, that might have been just a rule before WWE adopted it, because the first stretcher match I saw was Brock Lesnar versus Big Show at Judgment Day
On
in
that
2002.
DVD, they actually have the Kong versus Andre the Giant
That's the
match
first one,
as
right?
an extra. Yes.
Yeah, but I'm saying I think the one.
Well, the first one that the WWE had.
That's what I'm saying. That's the first one, but I mean, like, then they adapted it in 2002. But how do I feel? It depends. I mean, I guess if I hear an injury, take place, like for example, the live event at Roadblock where Bray Wyatt he was speculated of back injury, so they put in a 2-on-1 handicap match instead. I guess I'm more understanding to it. However, if I bought a ticket to that and I didn't see Bray versus Brock, I guess I'd be kind of upset. So, I'm going to be upset to a point. But if I read backstage news saying that somebody was injured or, they wanted to save it for a later better event, I could understand it.
How about you, Tom?
Just my thoughts on that question. Number one, it's WCW. They did a horrible idea. Every idea they had.
That's before, some people.
Yeah. That was some horrible ideas were tossed around WCW, and it's also Sid Vicious, who he's a great guy, great wrestler, but he's not the smartest man.
That was in his prime though. That's probably like in the 90-91 I would have to be, because El Gigante was, like I said, that's before Giant Gonzalez. So
he still can barely speak during his promos, but that's besides the point.
Hey,
Say
when
that
you're
to his
6'8", 300+ pounds, you don't need to.
and you're chiseled out of stone.
Exactly. So maybe he was like, "Wait, what am I supposed to do in this stretcher match?" Or the fact, like what you guys said, he had to pin him, then put him on the stretcher match, because that's how it was with the body bag match too, wasn't it?
Yep.
No.
Yes.
No. Yeah.
First
You're right.
body
You're right.
bag
No, I'm
match,
trying. No,
yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to keep saying
Half
no,
and
yes.
half, probably.
Yeah. But how do you feel though?
I'd be, if I was like you said with Roadblock, I was really hoping for Bray Wyatt, and I wasn't that like aggravated that I sat there and watched the match, because it was a good match, it was entertaining. But the fact that I would pay a ticket and not see who, because the card, like it always says before you go see an event, card subject to change. I'd be pretty mad if I didn't get to see the actual match that was taking place.
Yeah. So.
Or how it was supposed to be done.
How about you, Price?
Exactly what Tom said. I was going to say that before that. It's WCW. I mean, these guys are the same people that put out Viagra on a pole pinata on a pole.
That's a decade before that.
Everything on a pole.
Bunkhouse brawl, where it's a battle royal, but it's a steel cage. You're getting punched, and you are climbing up a cage to be eliminated. What? But I would feel pretty upset if I were you, Mike. If the stretcher was never used, I mean, there's sometimes in WWE where they had like casket matches, and then there was a disqualification or some crap like that. I mean, like it's WCW. Just don't watch WCW.
Yeah, I agree.
But thank you very much, Mike, for that question.
Appreciate it, man.
I'm sure we're going to be hearing from you next week. Up next, we have Dave Michael, a.k.a. DC.
That's another slang. I think it's Michael Danilevich, right?
No. We just did Michael Danilevich.
Oh, I bet. I thought you did
DC.
Dave first because you said the way you introduced it on the card. That's why I got memory, dude. I'm sorry.
Nope.
I apologize, but thank you.
He likes to go by DC. That's his wrestling name. And he said, what's your favorite response to people when they say, wrestling is fake? Rich.
I'll let Malloy answer that first because it just irritates me.
Number one, it irritates me. Number two, it's not fake. It's choreographed entertainment.
I say you're right.
But overall, those moves are not fake. I mean, ask anyone who's ever a professional wrestler.
Ask Neville, who just got hurt last week.
Yeah. Ask Luke Harper, who just torn his ACL from punching someone, and his knee gave out probably from lifting someone up before that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not fake. The only thing fake about it is script. That's because that's the entertainment value of it. You can appreciate it for athleticism and entertainment. That's how I feel about it. You could appreciate it for, a guy like Kevin Owens, who is not the best in shape character, but could do a 450 splash.
Yeah.
Or you can appreciate it for the idea that, a guy like John Cena could do moves for a big man that's built like a brick house.
Like he did a Hurricane with CM Punk.
Exactly. You would not expect that. But then you could see like stories take place where it's more or less like it's
60 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, look at the story Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart told at WrestleMania 12. I mean, that's 60 minute. It's a 60-minute classic. Even go 10 years before that, 7 years before that, Steamboat and Flair did that on like a daily basis.
Yeah.
Like you said, I mean, is it predetermined? Yes. That's the only thing that's fake about it. I just look at it like this, like it's a soap opera. Like people read their lines and the outcomes. But what you see in there is football. That's the way I look at it.
And it's creative
it might not be
storytelling,
as
too.
physical as football, but I mean I will say this though. Now it's not as physical as it used to be because I feel like everybody's so like keyed in on like how they look doing like a flip or a chain wrestling event, so it doesn't look as real. If that makes any sense. But obviously it's still real. Like I just said, Neville got hurt last week. Rollins got hurt in October. Cena he got hurt lifting, but Cesaro got hurt. Like, look at the injury bug this year based on wrestling.
Exactly.
And they're on the road 300-plus days a year.
And this is, last night, actually, someone said this to me. I was sitting in an establishment having a nice Steve Weiser.
Nice.
And a gentleman said to me, he's like, why do you watch this crap? It hasn't been real since Kurt Angle wrestled in it. I looked at him and I'm like, what are you, stupid?
That's the thing, too. I hate when people are like, oh, in the 70s and 80s it was real. It wasn't real. It never was real.
Only time it was real was like with Frank Gotch and stuff when they wrestled for like there was no storytelling to it whatsoever.
It was actually wrestling.
They would wrestle for
60
minutes and the audience was bored.
Yeah.
Except with Yukon Eric with the ear incident. That was real.
What's that?
He bit his ear off.
Well, I'm sure there's obviously real aspects if stuff goes to that level, but on a 95% of the time, 99.8% of the time or whatever, it's predetermined outcome, real wrestling, real physicality, and just scripted lines for entertainment purposes.
And what I have to say with this is, first of all, Tom, thank you for taking the Kevin Owens can do a 450 splash. Thank you. We need to remember that he can do that. Now, on to the question. If you ever want to check out Jake the Snake Roberts' Hall of Fame speech, he says a great line, and I'm going to dub it down to PG for you. It is visual stimulation. That's what they are doing for you.
Do you really need to dub it down? Because I want to hear it now.
Yeah, so do I.
Or does he actually say like the
No,
F word
he
and stuff?
says some stuff that I do not want to say because it's not PG.
Okay, can't knock you on that.
However, my response to anybody that would say it was fake is step inside the ring. A couple years ago, I was able to step inside the ring when our good buddy Ace X, he gave me a nice little clothesline, and my elbow blew up 3 times as big, just like the Grinch's heart. It is real. The punches and kicks might be a little bit soft. However, you have to be a tremendous athlete, and you have to be even stronger and more cardio and in better shape for wear and tear than a lot of other athletes because they have an off season.
Exactly.
WWE does not. They might be off 65 days, if that.
Yeah, that's being nice.
That's if you are like
and
a jobber.
The majority of the thing is Christmas, where they get those 2 weeks out because they pre-tape the Raws in December.
Right.
At a certain point, and then they get the New Year off, I think.
Yeah.
But they used to do that tribute to the troops. They used to have to work over that.
That's
because remember, Rob Van Dam had a huge problem with that. He's like, I'm absolutely not going over there.
Yeah, so, that's just what I have to look for.
So thank you very much, Mike. And with that, we are going to close out the Primal. Thank you, Dave and Mike.
Yeah, there we go.
Sorry. Thank you, Dave and Mike. We like all our listeners equally. We're going to close out the PriMalLow Mailbag, and when we come back, it's Bracket Madness here on the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Hi, I'm Robert from the PriMalLow Wrestling Show, here to tell you about our Twitter account. Follow our page at PriMalLow Show for fan interaction regarding professional wrestling. Thank you, and we can't wait to hear from you.
Welcome back. It is time for a closing segment. Usually it's our self high five, but like I said last week, we started off the bracket. We did every single match of the opening round. Now we're going to continue it with the second round. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to Mike and Dave for the questions, and thank you guys on social media. I forgot to even say this during the segment. I tagged a thing like name a wrestler you've been down with since day one. Got a lot of people. We had Heidi Jimenez said Shawn Michaels. Heather Montigny said The Rock. Aaron Ivan said Goldberg. Jen Roberts said Road Dogg because she used this quote. Maitland Kennedy said DX. So, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff. For me, I guess it would be The Rock. I wasn't really a Shawn Michaels fan until DX, but just wanted to toss it out there. Thank you guys for your input. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for the questions, Dave and Mike. And thank you to Price for hosting it.
Yes.
Thank you, Malloy. You're stepping up your game on those plugs, man. I like it.
Yes.
Yes. All right, the thank yous are over. Let's get to the bracket time. Last week, we had 32 winners. Now we're going to take it down to the Sweet 16. We had some grief.
We had some hard times.
I'm sorry. And I like it because it's a sleeper pick. There are some upsets in the world of sports. I guess you can call that an upset pick. I told Price, I don't know what I was thinking during the heat of the discussion. Maybe I just thought about it because me and him always go head-to-head. I accidentally picked RVD over Dusty Rhodes.
I picked RVD too.
No,
I was happy with that.
In hindsight, I would change that. I know you're happy with it. In hindsight, I would change it. Like I said, heat of the discussion. I wish I could take it back. I can't. I live with it. I move on.
Yeah, Matt Uzako is not happy about that pick whatsoever.
Matt Uzako also named like 35 people that were in the bracket, saying that they weren't in the bracket.
Thanks, Wade.
Matt, yeah, love you, buddy. Thank you for your input on that. But anyway, so we're just going to go to the next round. We're going to announce our winners, and we have some leeway here so we can actually discuss why rather than last week. So, first match, we had Austin, who just came off a win against Yokozuna, against Bob Backlund, who defeated Kane. Price, who do you have?
I have Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I have the 316.
All right, I have the Rattlesnake, too. I guess we don't really need to discuss that one. Write that down real quick.
Just because of his impact on the business during the hottest period on TV.
I can't agree more.
Even Ric Flair agrees with it that he's the best wrestler of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Best performer of all time.
Yeah, definitely. Next one, we have Ted DiBiase versus Sting. Ted defeated Taz in the first round, and then Sting defeated the British Bulldog in the first round. So, Price, what do you got?
I have Sting.
Okay.
I have Sting also.
I also have Sting.
I picked Sting, and I believe it's just because of the impact that he single-handedly carried WCW when Ric Flair left, or when everybody left. He was the only mainstay that was there prior, when it was NWA, to the day that they closed.
Okay. Next one up, we have Gorilla Monsoon, who just defeated Jerry Lawler. That was actually a kind of, you could argue of a toss-up on that one. And then the Ultimate Warrior, who defeated Iron Sheik in the first round. So, Molloy, start off with you. Who do you have on that one?
I have the Ultimate Warrior.
I don't know if I should even answer, but I'm going to say Ultimate Warrior.
I'll write it down. I have Warrior, too. So.
I only picked Ultimate Warrior because during the time, he was supposed to replace Hulk Hogan and be the next big guy.
Okay.
I picked Warrior just for like the same factor. And Warrior versus Monsoon, it's just, I don't know. You think of like the size matter, the the picture the Warrior. Just the Warrior defeats the Gorilla.
Okay. Next one, we have Edge, who just defeated Terry Funk, and some people actually had some grief with that match. Price was one of them with me. I don't know. I'll explain for another day, I guess. He defeated Terry Funk, and then we have Undertaker, who defeated Nikolai Volkov. I guess that was really no discussion there. Molly, who do you have on that one?
I have Taker.
It's a rematch at WrestleMania 24, by the way.
I have
Right,
Taker
yeah, I
for
guess
that
so.
same reason, because at WrestleMania 24 you were able to see this actual match. Edge was, I believe, it's limited, and I kind of agreed with Tom when he said this a couple weeks ago. I believe his Hall of Fame was rushed, and his
Stop it.
when you have these people that pass away or retire early, you kind of get this grief sympathy vote. So
I don't know.
and
All the
put an
stuff
end
that
to
Edge
that.
put his body online, I don't know how you could say it was rushed, but anyway.
Who'd you pick?
This sure be
Taker.
good year for him.
Oh, okay.
No. All right, we're going down to the bottom bracket, the Ric Flair bracket now. We have Ric Flair coming off a win against Dirty Lad, and then Owen Hart defeating Big Show in the first round. So Flair versus Owen Hart. Malloy, who do you have?
I have the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
This is going to be a close match in reality, too.
Yeah.
Price, who do you have?
Woo!
All right. I also have Ric Flair. This is probably one of the closer matchups that I think we have in the second round. It's all matter about bracket, matchups, and that's why I think Flair wins. Very close battle, but Flair just overall headstone of the wrestling career, profession, I guess you could say. Next match, we have Chris Jericho, who defeated Tito Santana in the first round, and Andre the Giant, who faced Psycho Sid and defeated him. Malloy, who do you have out of Jericho and Andre?
I have Jericho.
Okay. Price, sorry.
I have Andre the Giant.
I'm not gonna lie, on my bracket right here, from that we all filled out before the first, last week's show, I have Jericho. I don't know why I did that, but something to tell me Andre. I'm gonna go Jericho because I wrote it down. I know I wrote it down for a reason.
Sorry, Mike Danilevich.
Sorry,
Andre
buddy.
is out of the.
I'm sorry, buddy, but hey, your bracket counts, and at the end of the next week's show when we announce the winner, I will announce the winners from all the brackets that we got from everybody, so don't worry, your brackets will be announced. I just wanted to add that real quick. But yeah, I have Jericho. Just, I guess, more entertainment purposes, but in Andre's defense, which is why I'm so torn, back in that era, his size was the selling point. He didn't have to talk. He didn't have to, be agile. He went to every territory based on his size, and he faced the best. Jericho just was more versatile because he had to be, I guess, if that makes any sense.
He
Right.
was everything.
So I just went with that because I'm also a bigger Jericho fan than Andre. I'm sorry. Sorry for the tiebreaker. That's the first tiebreaker we had, correct?
Of this round. Yes.
That's what I mean, of this round, yeah. All right, next one we have Bruno Sammartino, who defeated Scott Hall / Razor Ramon, Matt Uzako, and then versing off against Jake Roberts.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Jake the Snake Roberts, yeah. Matt Uzako, who defeated Billy Graham. So, Price, toss it to you to start off.
I picked the Snake Man.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going for Bruno Sammartino.
Oh, sorry. Bruno Sammartino. Jeez.
Wait, did you really pick Bruno?
I picked Bruno.
Okay, I was gonna say. I was like, that's weird.
I just really wanted to say Snake Man, I guess.
Oh, okay. I picked Bruno too, so that's a undisputed one. Next one. Is this real? Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. CM Punk, who defeated Mr. Perfect in what I was literally doing a coin flip in that one, going up against Triple H, who defeated Sergeant Slaughter, which was a real life match that happened. So, Price, go ahead.
I picked Triple H.
This is because of what happened at Night of Champions 2011.
Oh, well, he would have definitely beat Kevin Nash later on.
Oh, okay.
I picked the game.
Okay.
In the middle of the ring.
The middle of the bracket. I also have Triple H, and I mean, just longer career, more importance.
Also, he's more important than CM Punk right now.
I say that, especially now. So, all right.
UFC 200's coming up.
Going over to the next bracket. So the whole left side of the bracket's filled for this show, or for next week. So that's what we're going to talk about next week. We're going to do the rest of the whole tournament next week. But let's go to the right side, finish it off. We have Cena versus Booker T. This match has been done a million times in real life, but this is the bracket. Different story. Malloy, who do you have?
Super Cena.
Okay. How about you?
This isn't Taboo Tuesday, so I picked Cena.
Oh. I have Cena. Everybody knows I'm a big Booker T fan. I really wanted to pick him over Cena, but Cena just means so much more. And just as entertaining and stuff like that. Next one we have RVD. Ooh, I feel the heat coming right now just saying that.
That's bad
Who
heat. It's like
defeated-
garbage heat.
It really is. It's Lana Heat, dude. Who defeated Dusty Rhodes And then Ricky Steamboat, who defeated Killer Kowalski. That one's nice to say. I feel nice when I say that one. Price, who do you have?
I have Steamboat.
Okay. Boy.
I have RVD.
Really?
Yeah.
You're not getting away with this one. You're not gonna persuade me based on your rapid answer. I have Steamboat easily. And just so you guys know,
that'd be a great match. That'd probably be one of the best matches out of this
the second round.
Second round.
I agree. Just want to let everybody know, if I did have Dusty, I think it would have lost to Steamboat. Sorry. Let the heat begin again. But next one here. Talk about a good match. I think that would happen. Next one up is Foley, who defeated Goldberg in the first round, and Bret Hart, who defeated Kevin Nash / Diesel in the first round. This is, I guess for me, this is a flip your coin too. So, Molly, who do you have?
I have Bret Hart.
I have Mick Foley. I'm worried.
Keep talking because I really need to spend time. I have Bret on my bracket that I filled out last week, but the more I look at Foley, I want to pick Foley.
I have Mick Foley only because of the fact that he is the third party in a political election. You needed him in order to have great wrestling.
Okay, Molly, give me your pick on Bret. This is you. You guys are persuaded to me.
I picked Bret because he's overall, if you look at him versus Foley, he's the overall ring technician. And Bret Hart led the new generation into the 90s.
Mick Foley put more asses in seats. And
Bret Hart
that's
did
the only time
not.
I'm going to curse on this podcast.
Oh, I need a coin, man. I need a coin. Coin. Hurry up.
I don't have a
Anyway,
coin.
this bracket is brought to you by the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. As you look for a bracket here we go. All right, if it's on the top, it's Mick Foley. Bottom, Bret Hart. Bret Hart. Which is kind of cool because it stayed with my bracket, but
That coin flip is brought to you by Hop Suplex Ale.
yes,
And also Hawkins Wintergreen.
Yes,
for your chewing pleasure for them 18+ year olds that are listening to our show.
Which we do not.
We do not
advocate.
condone underage drinking or chewing. Anyway, Bret Hart goes by literal chew coin flip. Anyway, next one up, we have Chris Benoit, who defeated Rick Rude, against The Rock, who defeated Nick Bockwinkel. This one, for me, is kind of easy, but go ahead.
I picked Rock.
Okay.
I picked the ravishing Rick Rock. The
Nice.
Rock.
I also
Triple R.
I also have The Rock. It's just pretty much easy. Entertainment's a lot better than Benoit. Wrestling was slightly less than Benoit, but just so much entertainment. What? I don't think it was that funny. All right, here goes a good one. Talk about an intriguing matchup for the second round. Hogan versus Piper. Hogan defeated Rey Mysterio. Roddy Piper defeated Dean Malenko. Who do you have, Price?
Let's go with Tom first.
Okay.
I have Mr. America.
Okay.
The man who just got awarded $225 million.
225.
140 million.
Oh,
It's 140. I wish it was 225. Maybe you could give me some.
Yeah.
I picked Hulkamania, brother.
Ah,
Yeah, I picked the $1 Million Man, Hulk Hogan.
I got you. I picked Roddy Piper, but I lose, so.
First time Reach has lost in the second round.
This is the first time I lost in the second round, yeah.
First time he's ever lost in his life.
Yes.
He pinches to win.
Harley Race won last week?
Yes, he did.
All right, we have Harley Race versus Randy Orton. Another great second round matchup if this was everybody in their prime. Price, what do you have?
I have Harley Race on my bracket, but I'm going to go with Orton because he's a legend killer.
So he killed the legend of Harley Race.
Yes, I did.
I hear voices in my head.
All right, I also have Orton. Wrestling was probably just on par as Harley Race, and I guess he's more entertainment. Had better matches. Not better matches, but he did more specialty matches, if that makes any sense. So, next one up, this bracket is just full of matches, dude.
These are incredible matches.
These would be incredible matches. Kurt Angle versus Randy Savage. Take your pick on this one, Price. You can start it off.
Well, as I look to my right, I see Kurt Angle, but I don't like him, so I'm going to go with Macho Man Randy Savage because of the fact.
Right, there's Savage right there.
Oh, there's
dude.
Savage too. Savage is a perfectionist, and he would have scripted every single thing, and I don't think Angle would have.
Because Angle doesn't need to because he's a wrestling machine, dude.
I picked
Pure
Macho
wrestling
Man.
machine.
I picked Macho Man Randy Savage. This is March
All right.
Madness. I'm going Macho Madness.
Well, guess what? So am I. So, boy, what do you have?
It doesn't even matter. Go
I'm
ahead.
going Randy Savage.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
My Halloween costume.
your Halloween costume. I was just about to say it.
The most broken down costume in America.
Macho Man, if he was hopeless.
Those pants are legit, though. I might wear them this
It was
weekend.
Macho Sadness. No, I'm joking.
Oh, yeah.
All right, final match of the second round, and then other than that, you have to tune in next week to hear the rest, meaning the final 8, final 4, final 2, and the winner. But here it is, the final cliffhanger for this show, this episode number 51. Price, Brock Lesnar, HBK.
This is a really good cliffhanger because I'm going with HBK.
I really should have did Savage and Angle last, but HBK, okay.
So we got HBK and Lesnar.
Look at your bracket. Why are you asking me?
It doesn't really.
It's not really a
What's your
question.
answer? What's your answer,
Sweet
Tom?
chin music.
It doesn't matter what your answer is because we already picked HBK.
Yeah.
Now, I picked HBK because, the man went from the 80s, the 90s. He had a back injury that he could probably just left, and he would not have been, like...
It would have been... He still would have been legendary.
He would have been legendary. He also wouldn't have been missed because during that time, there was that transition period. He was able to pass the torches to Shawn Michaels. Came back in 2002 and looked like he did when he first started.
Exactly. Just really, he was very, very interchangeable no matter what you put him in, a heel, face, all that stuff. Lesnar, I mean, he's been a part-timer since 2004.
He's a great specimen. However,
Exactly. And great wrestler. I mean, let's not come short, but let's face it, his entertainment, he has somebody talking for him all the time.
But if he was able to go to WCW, I believe he would go to WCW.
Oh, because of the dates.
Yeah.
Because of the money.
Oh, and the money and the dates. His dates twice as less as WWE's, you know what I mean? But anyway, go ahead.
I digress myself. I picked HBK because, he's a very holy man of God. And it's Holy Week, so I hope everyone has a good Friday, Holy Thursday.
You know what? That was a great ending.
Respect,
that was
Tom.
a great ending.
Total respect.
Easter Sunday, Holy Saturday, all them days.
Some people aren't religious.
But
But
I'm
I'm
saying-
saying, hope everybody has a great
However,
holiday.
Austin
HBK
316, HBK.
HBK had God as his partner, so I mean, like,
He literally had God on his team. He didn't show up to the ring, but...
No, he did show it to the ring.
Oh, yeah, he did. The light.
But anyway, like I said, next week we're the finale of the bracket because it's our first time on video. That's right. You're gonna see our
first time on video.
You're gonna see our faces. So hopefully you guys
Don't tune
Should I
out.
shave?
if you want to. But
I'm
hopefully
not
you guys,
shaving.
hopefully you guys don't get too scared. But like I said, next week it's the year anniversary. We're first time on video. Closing out the bracket. Gonna preview WrestleMania. Gonna preview NXT. It is a great first video.
Episode
Guess what?
53.
And guess what?
Oh, wait, it's 52.
At 52, yeah.
52. And they can find us on all these social media sites, too, before we end the show. On Twitter, you can like us at The PriMalLow Show.
Yeah.
You guys can listen to us on SoundCloud at The PriMalLow Wrestling Show.
Preach, son.
Like us on Facebook at The PriMalLow Wrestling Show.
Love.
Or also join our group, The PriMalLow Wrestling Show. We're always talking, discussing. I'm giving figures, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5.
Do
That's
it
my
again.
GPA. And then you can continue to read about us on Blogger at the PriMalLowWrestlingShow.blogspot.com and listen to us on YouTube for our weekly episodic episodes at the PriMalLow Wrestling Show. Search for episodes on there.
Good job, Malloy. Thank you, Price, for hosting the PriMalLow Mailbag. Thank you for the 2 questions, Mike and Dave. Thank you to all the people that talked about that wrestling, loyalty thing. Like I said, next week we're doing video. We're going to do the bracket, WrestleMania. It's going to be a great time. So I hope you guys stay tuned for 52. I like that. Stay tuned for 52.
And I hope they don't think we look like the oddities.
There you go. So do you guys time for your sign-offs, guys. Finish it up.
Woo, woo, woo. You know it.
I can unscrew my head off and shoot hoops with it.
All right, stay tuned for next week's episode, number 52 on video.